Hey guys, this is Jay here with another episode of Inside the Tank Live. So glad that you're here. Watching on cashflowdiary.tv, you can go ahead and type in the chat room. Let me see anything that you got to say. I just finished watching Shark Tank and I'm mad. That's basically really what's going on right now. Unfortunately, I'm mad about the fourth deal of the night, so it's going to take a minute for us to get there, but that's okay, and I'll explain why I'm mad. I mean, pretty much this entire episode, though, it was kind of a non-starter. It was very, very uneventful, somewhat boring, anticlimactic. However, there were some definitely interesting learning lessons that I want to make sure that we go over. Now, if this is your first time here, again, my name is Jay, founder of cashflowdiary.com, where we tend to help people become business owners and investors to go out there, create clean, safe, affordable housing, learn to raise capital, all kinds of interesting things. And I just happen to love Shark Tank, so I do my best to try to demystify what it is, how it works, and most importantly, what do all those numbers mean and what are they saying in the first place. Again, which is why I'm upset about the fourth deal of the night. But I'll explain why when we get there. All right, so today we had four different entrepreneurs as usual, right? We've got the lemonade, the brand yourself, the iCPooch, as well as the t-shirts, and we're going to definitely talk about that one. So let's get this party started. We've got Be Sweet Lemonade. They're asking $60,000 for a 10% stake inside the company. So that means, let's always do the math. Let's go back so that we can all be on the same page here. They were asking, remember, here's how we do it. We take the $60,000 divided by the 10%, and it's going to tell us what they were asking for, which in this case is $600,000 is the valuation they were giving. And mind you, this is lemonade. As I've said before, if you can solve the problem for one person, you can solve it for a lot more than one person. Everything else is a matter of scale, which they have clearly begun, keyword here, begun to figure out. In this particular case, they've got four current SKUs. They use flaxseed, healthy alternative in terms of lemonade making. I think it's awesome because the creator was started at 4.5 years old and now she's 9. I haven't seen too many articulate 9-year-olds. I don't know if you have. When you were watching this, I know you had the same emotional reaction like me. Oh, that's cute. This is awesome. She's going to get a deal, right? And then all of a sudden they start going, no, 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 no. And you're like, what's the problem? Well, the problem is that it's really, really small in a lot of cases. And at the same time, it's not really a business yet, but it's on its way there. And clearly Damon saw that because if I'm not mistaken, he was the one that was willing to go down that road with her. So let's look at some of the details though. Now, I don't know how many 9-year-olds you know. I don't even know how many people you know that have a product in Whole Foods, but she managed to figure that out. 30 locations, 4 cities. They've got to get their costs down because that was one of the first things I saw when I was looking at it. I was like, oh, $1.50 for a $3 product. That's not enough room in there to be able to scale or make that really, really work. They needed a lot more volume to be able to get the price down. They probably could make that happen. And after this show, I'm sure they did probably make that happen even tonight, because I know a number of you probably went out there and started looking up Be Sweet Lemonade. You're like, let me help the little girl, even if it's just to go to college and to get to her real business, whatever that might be. That is definitely something there. As you see here, we had no offer, no offer, no offer, no offer. And it was only Damon who was willing to go there. And it was a contingent offer, mostly because I think he just wanted to help out. And he was like, look, here's what I can do. Not necessarily me personally, but here's what I can make happen. And so long as they say yes, whatever they say goes, they being this new partnership that he had managed to form. So it totally makes sense. And he gave the perfect explanation as to why he needed the extra equity for that particular for what he was asking for. So they were asking for 600. They ended up with the deal at 60,000. And again, I'm just going to do the math so that everybody can see it. 60,000 divided by 25 means we got a deal for 240,000. We can call that a really big coupon or discount. Either way it goes, She's 9 people. I think it's awesome that she was out there and that her parents were supportive and figuring out what it needs to do to take their daughter's idea and help make that thing happen. So I'm very, very excited about this. One thing to consider when you're out there pitching and selling, Damon was the last one, last man standing. You wonder why on earth would they take such a quote unquote discount? Well, compared to what? What was their other option at that moment? At that moment, that was the only option available. Oftentimes, when you're being presented something, if we let our pride get in the way, we let other ideas get in the way, what we think get in the way, that could be the problem. It gets in the way. Meaning, if you don't have a better option, what's the worst case scenario with taking the one before you? Even if you feel, you're like, I don't know. What's the worst case scenario taking the one before you? If you don't have a better option, it's probably best you take something and let that be the beginning of putting you on the track to getting to where you need to be. There have been many, many times where that idea has served me quite well. Go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll see further. And that's exactly what happened with this particular one. I totally enjoyed it. Now,
hey Jay, real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that a lot of the reason why Damon decided to fund was because she was so cute. Because if you look at the evaluation, even at what the offer he gave at $240,000,
it's a lot of lemonade.
They only sold 25,000 this year.
Yeah, but they were in Whole Foods. They at the end of the day, they were in Whole Foods. That was only a few months old relationship on the way to more. That's what he's looking on. This is a total bet on the future. Period. You can't look at the past. It's all new. But hey, they're in Whole Foods. It can't be that bad if they've been in Whole Foods and they're going to the entire region. There's a reason. Even if you don't like lemon, and I've never heard of anyone being allergic to lemonade. That was new to me. I was like, wow, I didn't know you could be allergic to lemons. That's a new one. But I hear you. Anyway, what would I have offered? I didn't want no part of this. Cute or not, would I have taken the offer? Yeah, I would have totally taken the offer. That's exactly why I would have taken it. Last man standing, gotta offer something. Would I have made a counter offer? Nope, because again, I had no ammunition with which to do so. How would I have done it different? I don't know that I think it was awesome that they had her pitch. In fact, that was like, I cannot believe she's saying, does she realize the words she's saying? Those are big words. And I don't know if you were thinking like me. I was like, does she still have her full adult teeth yet? I mean, is she really able to say these words? Oh man, it was great. As far as what questions I would have asked, maybe more questions about how they're currently selling it now, through the future, etc. Maybe trying to understand some of maybe their web presence. That would have been useful. I'm really hoping right now tonight, especially that they have a website, because they'll be, if they have a website, they just got all the orders that they need. So what questions were answered poorly? I can't say that any of them were. And I even like how Dad stepped in and rephrased some of the questions and some of the responses that were given to give people a better perspective. So way to go, parents. Way to go, Dad. Way to go. It was Michaela, right? Did I say that right? I think it was. Yeah. Okay, so way to go. I support you. Way to go. Make it happen. Send me some lemonade. All right. So let's talk about the second one. $2 million for 13%. Brand yourself. Online platform where someone searches for themselves online. Have you ever Googled yourself? Oh my God. Who knows what you're going to find, right? It's
don't Google Jay's full name.
I know.
If you want to have a laugh, search for Jermaine Massey, and you will have a laugh.
Yes, exactly. So I see the need for the product. Totally see the need for the product. I love the idea. I love the pricing structure. I get where they're going. I was stuck on the valuation. I mean, when he said $2 million for 13.5, let's follow our same process, right? So when they say $2 million, that's a lot of zeros, first of all, and you're going to divide that by 13.5%. He's like, whoa. I mean, yeah. When he said it, I was like, what? Or is he sure? Did he stumble on his words? But no, it sounds like he's made a trip to Silicon Valley at least once, because if he was already able to get $3 million at a $15 million valuation, he got it from somewhere, and that's likely where it came from. So again, we had another case of no offer, but $2 million for 25. And if you look back to some of the previous episodes, we discussed the issue with down rounds before, and that's exactly what would have happened here, which is what he could not accept because of the $3 million he just got. Who knows how recent that was? But the point is, if you just raised it at 5, you can't go back down to 8, which was not I mean, I'm sure, Robert would definitely be the kind of partner you'd want on something like this, for sure. But I think the most interesting thing that I take from this particular deal was something that Mark Cuban said. What did he say? He's like, said something about the growth and dependence of companies on social media. And I was like, growth, I understood. But when he said the word dependence, I was like, interesting. And to me, from a person in that position, I think he sees social becoming something that we become more dependent on compared to other things that we might be considering right now, which is, kind of interesting to me. It's like, all right, so maybe there's a whole concept of owning media, owning attention of a certain group of individuals is something that we all need to be looking into if we're going to be, quote unquote, dependent on it in various different ways. So I thought that was definitely interesting. So as far as brand yourself, what would I have offered? Absolutely nothing, but I'm definitely a customer. Would I have taken the offer? If I'm in the same position, I'm going to have to say no. I would have tried to negotiate something, though, because that was the one thing he didn't do, which I thought was interesting. So would I have made a counter offer? I would have tried to counter. I mean, if he said $2 million for 13.5, I would have tried maybe $2 million for 15, $2 million for 17, $2 million for something, man. I want your money. Yes, I'm here for a deal, but I can't have them take too much of a haircut. I'll try and sell a haircut, but I can't take 25%. That just doesn't work. Can we meet somewhere in the middle or something like that? I would have stayed in there until we found a happy medium. So how would I have done it differently? That's exactly what I just wouldn't have quit. What questions would I have asked? I would have wanted to know more information about what it seemed like he was trying to be secretive of, was how he said we haven't launched it yet. And when he was talking about the social media brand cleanup, etc., I would have wanted to know more about that, because I'm sure they've got something. It sounded like he had and has a plan. He's got something, but he hasn't launched it yet, so he's aware of it. I would have wanted to know more about it. As far as what questions were answered poorly, again, we only see 8 minutes of it was probably 40-minute conversation. So in that situation, it's that same question, the whole social thing. I would have wanted to know a little bit more about this particular one as well. But clearly, I'm a customer, and you probably are too.
So Jay,
yeah.
So what happened? I've seen this happen twice now. It is that there's good products that go into the tank that get, I would call it, handcuffed by previous evaluations, and then they can't raise the money anymore because they don't want a down round.
Right.
So having a high evaluation early on, is that a good thing or a bad thing in your mind? It
just depends if you have a need for additional capital, and you've got to think about that. You just got to think about that when you get started. You've got to think about it from the beginning. Is there are times where you want that valuation, but typically you want that valuation after you've achieved some sort of stability. Because if you still need to if you still have a chance for raising capital, you've got to give those new people room to grow. So, and if you can't give them room to grow, then they're not going to want to put their money in, which is what he's experiencing. He's like, look, and Robert said it very clearly, your play here is in growth. If I come in at the 15 million valuation, I don't know if I'm going to be growing. I mean, he wants to grow. He believes it can grow. It's just not the right number. I mean, he was willing to put up $2 million. In fact, the other thing on this one that I want everybody to pay attention to is oftentimes when you're raising capital, you think, oh, I got to get them their money back. Oh, I'm concerned about the return. I don't know if you heard it, because Robert said it really quick. He's like, look, I'm not really concerned about getting my money back this year or next year, etc. I'm like, that's $2 million. And he's like, let it go. It can stay. Don't be in such a hurry. Understand your investor's identity, because when you do, you have a shot at being able to negotiate something differently. So he wasn't overly concerned about getting $2 million back quickly, because again, the other guy brought it up. He was like, look, I'm going to make sure you're going to get your money back. He was like, I'm not concerned about getting my money back. He was concerned about many other things, and that would have been a great place to figure out what he was concerned about, because there was a reason he was willing to do an $8 million valuation, and there was a reason he wasn't willing to do 15, and that's where that deal could have been. It's right in there and understanding why. All right.
I had a quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
So could he, since he has such a high evaluation, could he have taken a $2 million loan?
Yeah,
Or-
that would have been another option, but at that stage, it didn't sound like he was revenue positive. How's he going to take a loan when he's not making money yet? The issue is does he have enough revenue to actually pay for a $2 million loan? And do you want that kind of capital coming out of the company? You could probably take a loan and get creative with the payment structure. A convertible debt option probably would have been really good in this particular case. That could have solved a lot of things, but no one came up with that or said that or suggested. He didn't make any counteroffer. He didn't try to fight for something. It could have evolved to that. You and I have done more negotiating back and forth on his deal than he did.
So what kind of convertible debt option would you have given then?
Well, a convertible. Let's see. In this case, yeah, you could do the same $2 million, give them 7-8%, something like that, but no payments, and I have the option to convert later for equity at the maybe I could have an option to buy in at my 25% valuation when if and only if we hit the new number or whatever. So that way it doesn't hurt anybody today, and it gives me the option at a price point that I want right now, while gives him the capital to use in the meantime. So that's just one of many ways to think through it, but that they didn't come up with that. It's unfortunate, and I'm sure if he watches this, he's gonna be like, "Dang it, that would have worked." But that's okay. It's okay. What do I know? All right. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. iCPooch. Yeah. What were you thinking when you saw this? I know what I was thinking. I'm like, wow, really? For dogs, huh? Maybe I just don't love my pets enough. But a video chat for the pet, all right, cool. I'm glad that they won a competition, but they definitely weren't about to win any dollars. 149 retail, cost is 60. It's interesting that the guy's quit his job already at this stage to run the company, and I do commend him for taking no salary. You saw Mark go straight for that. 2 months, sold 115 units. That's not a lot. They need a sales force like nobody's business right now. They're on Amazon, which is great, and it looks like something going on with Bed Bath & Beyond that could totally help. As you saw straight across the board, no offers. I am not surprised. Way too early. Product still needs better design. And if there is an award, which there will be, for worst named product of the night, iCPooch wins, period, hands down. What would I have offered? Absolutely nothing. Would I have taken any offer? They would have, if they were, you know what? You know who they needed tonight? They needed Barbara. Barbara could have totally reshaped the marketing of that particular company and made it work. I'm almost certain she could have. Would I have made a counter offer? I had less than no interest on this particular product in and of itself. What would I have done differently? I would have tried to redesign the product and actually entered the tank with the salesperson. Hello. I will say this though, she's 14. I was like, oh wow, we've got a theme here. She didn't carry herself like a 14-year-old. I didn't take her as a 14-year-old until she said it. And I was like, oh, cool. Then she won some respect, but she does need to go back to the drawing board and make some things better. So, what questions would I have asked? I wasn't interested, so I wasn't going to be asking too many questions. As far as what was answered poorly, they didn't show us, and I don't know if they asked about the whole idea of what sales, what was the plan? How are they going to go from 115 units to, well, anything that resembles a business? And what was after Bed Bath & Beyond? And I mean, even some of the tell signs. If you're an entrepreneur and you know you got to do sales, when Bed Bath & Beyond calls, one of the first things I want to know is how much and when and how many are you going to buy? And they didn't know that. I thought that was interesting. You close, you've got to figure out what that order size is going to look like, and I want to know it sooner than later. Anyway.
So Jay, when you compare the numbers and the stuff from this one to the B lemonade stuff, they're very close. You look at the sales in dollar amount. You look at the margins. You look at one being in Whole Foods, one being in Bed Bath & Beyond. Not that they. What I think was the big difference was, in my opinion, was proof of concept.
Yes.
Because lemonade, everyone knows people like.
That's exactly what I wrote right here.
So the big difference between this one,
why they
didn't get a deal, other than not knowing their numbers, was that the proof of concept
Yep.
was much harder to prove, so they didn't have the sales behind it
Nope.
to get past the proof of concept.
Correct. That's exact. And I'm just showing everybody right here. That was exactly what I wrote right here. The problem was proof of concept, because I mean, I don't know that Fido misses me that much, and I don't miss Fido that much to where I want to have an extra iPad. The complicated use, the high dollar price. I mean, there's just fewer units. Yeah, the numbers may be the same, but clearly the other company was selling more units because they had a lower price point. So, and yeah, I mean, I get thirsty, duh, and it's a consumable. So I'm going to, if I happen to like it and I'm not allergic to lemonade, I'm going to reorder. So you've got a number of things going for it that make it completely different. All right, I see a question is, can you define a down round? Yeah, sure, Marvin. In this particular case, Marvin, what a down round is. So let me just go to, which one was that? Was that this one? That was brand yourself, yeah. Right? All right, so let's look at the numbers. Remember, he came in asking for $2 million for 13.5%. So let's do the number. Oh, we've already done the number. So there's the number again. The number right now, the valuation, the exact valuation he's asking for is $14.8 million. What Robert offered was $2 million divided by for 25%. That's $8 million. So the challenge was, previous to going on the Shark Tank, he had sold $3 million at $15 million valuation. So that means those shares, if he now, because it's always going to go by last sold, just like in the stock market, right? The last sold comparable sale is where the price is. So what he had just sold for $15 million was about to be half off. So the previous round from $15 million down to $8 million, that's the down round. That's a problem. Well, it's a problem not for the new guy. It's a problem for the previous purchasers at $3 million. And that's what he couldn't do. He couldn't say, because he just spent all of this energy telling people it's worth $15 million, and he got $3 million of it. And then however many ever weeks or months later, he goes, okay, well now, congratulations, your investment is now worth half of what it used to be. That's a problem. That's a problem. So that's just a problem. You don't want to do that. All right, so let's see, where are we now? Are we at the one I want to be at?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So now we're going to talk about the home T, the reason I'm upset today. The reason I am upset today. So he comes in asking for $250,000 for 5%. He was very upfront, like, look, I'm here to negotiate. Branded states on T-shirts, and I was like, wow, okay. $30 shirts made in the USA. I'm like, okay, it must be a really good shirt. 12 months now. I don't know about you, but when he said $250,000 for 5%, I laughed. I audibly laughed. If you had a video camera on me at the moment I was watching, I laughed. And then he said 12 million, 1.1 million revenue, and I shut up. I'm like, okay, he's a player, go for it. And $500,000 profit? That's like, what? Are you kidding me? 50% margin? One person? This is when you love technology. Think about this today, guys. You can have $1 million revenue business yourself. That's what he's built. 56,000 likes on Facebook. Only $5,000 in Facebook ad. I find that a little hard to believe. But he knew his cost to acquire a customer was around $5. Selling online, and he wanted to use money to hire people. He was like, look, I finally need to hire people. He got to $1 million all by himself. I can't even imagine if he ever slept. But I'm impressed, to say the least. I mean, today's technology allows you to make that happen, which I think is very, very interesting.
So I had a quick question.
Go for it.
So if he was wanting to hire people that he needed $250,000, why couldn't he use some of the $540,000 profit to do that?
Which is what they asked him. They asked him, why are you here? That's exactly what they asked him. Which said to me, he's not there for the money. He's there for, which again, this is, you're pushing me to why I was about to get mad already. I'm already mad at this guy. I'm just mad. Okay, so hold on. All right, so let's get to the offers. Mark Cuban was no offer. Kevin, no offer. He had various different offers and whatnot. from lawyer, because who went first? Robert went first and said 250 for 35, and then he said 250 for 300, and he said I countered Lori at 400 for 10, and she's like, no. And then as he's walking out, because oh my gosh, I was this one again. If you had a camera on me, you would have seen. You would have probably saw Jacob and my daughter just like, is he okay? I mean, it's like a sporting event at this point for me. I'm like, no, the number's 20%. I'm yelling at the screen. It's 20%. Counter at 20%. Get off your 10. And then as he's leaving, and right before they cut the commercial, they show Damon say, hey, I'll give you $250 for 20%. And I was just like, yes, take it. And then they cut the commercial. And here's okay. He didn't take it, and you guys know that already. Here's why I'm upset. Because if you're using the money to hire people and you're already at $450,000 profit, I get the fact that, yeah, you've got $1 million whatever in revenue. But you've got to hear what some of the experience is saying. The experience is saying, look, just take the money and run. It's a T-shirt business. It's not really a company. However, let's just say that that's true. If that's true, and then they come around and say, hey, let me give you a par offer. A par offer, in my opinion, is, again, he's selling the sales for exactly what he's got. That's what this offer is. It's saying, look, I recognize every dollar I'm selling you at a 1x multiple. However, now you get me. How much do you think he had the opportunity to learn? If he was there to hire people, then he clearly needed help to do something he couldn't do on his own. And he at least was offering him a par offer. You take that offer. You take that offer. You went through the trouble to get on the show for a reason. You take the offer, unless all you wanted to do was just sell more T-shirts. Which I didn't get the impression that that was his goal, but maybe it was. I don't know. What would I have offered? I was yelling for the 20%. That was the offer. That's what I was thinking. Would I have taken Damon's offer all the way to the bank? I mean, even if I've got to sell, think about the long-term play. If I've got to sell what I currently have at par so that I can stay next to one of the premier brand builders in the U.S. and watch him pour into my company and make it something, or better yet, watch him pour into it and I can learn and use that information and those I mean, are you kidding me? Yes. Anyway, would I have made a counter offer? Again, we all know I was stuck on 20%. What would I have done differently? I would say, yeah, shook some hands and been happy. But, and again, at the same time, I get what Mark Cuban was saying. It was like, look, you don't sell one for one. I'm like, well, he wasn't bringing anything else to the party and he needed help. I mean, he didn't really have a plan. I mean, all the other peripherals, you heard him say, it was maybe 10% of the other sales. It's like, okay, well, clearly it's all about the T-shirts. Sell the T-shirts, but once that's over, it's over. And the double-edged sword is now all of those T-shirt manufacturers just saw what he's doing. They're like, oh, he made how much doing what? I mean, I'm sure in the next 3-4 weeks, we're going to see rainbows of colors and all kinds of things and different materials of that. The point is he had an opportunity that where he could have found some longevity or a second business or a third business or a crazy idea, something, by working with Damon in a completely different way. And there was more soft compensation than there was monetary compensation in that particular deal. And I just didn't get it. I didn't get why I would have been all over that for the expertise, for the mentorship. Oh, I'm mad. I'm mad.
So
yeah.
Why do you think Damon even threw him a number like that? Because there's absolutely no copyright. I could go out and get one made exactly like that for $10.
Sure.
He's selling it for $30, which is a huge premium on that. So there's going to be 50 other people that are going to be selling it for $15 now because they can still make, because the profits are ridiculous for T-shirts. So you don't make 50% on a T-shirt. He did. And so he's making a ridiculous amount of profit on it, and there's absolutely no branding to it. I mean, it's just literally like, can I Google what Texas looks like and put Texas in there, or home, or whatever? Right? Is that really that difficult?
It's not that it's that difficult. And again, I think Damon had a point to prove. His point, because he said it at the beginning, I don't think he's here for a deal. Damon was like, let's test. That was Damon's way of testing, are you here for a deal? That's really what it was. And I still think he should have said yes, even though he was being tested. That's why I believe very strongly that's why Damon did it. And if he had said yes, Damon was only looking at this as a quick monetary play. Let's go make another $250,000 plus $2 million, $3 million and be done with it. Move on to something else. And even that experience, that run, in my opinion, is totally worth it. Unless he had a better option. Compared to what? I mean, he was a one-man band already. So if he didn't have an advisor, if he didn't have someone who's going to really pour into him, who better? Especially after being on Shark Tank. He just sold another 300,000 shirts tonight. I mean, come on. It made sense to me. So would I have made a counteroffer? I think you guys know where I'm standing on all of these already. I'm just mad. I was like, you did all that, and I'm like, that was the number. You take it and run. You're happy and move on. You're happy and you move on. So let's see as we wrap up here. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me check chat room, see what else you guys might have said. All right, good. You're welcome, Marvin. We explained the down round. So the best offer of the night, obviously, you know, if you're going to pull some heartstrings, etc., it's going to all talk about, again, it was Damon tonight with the was it Be Sweet Honey? That was good. Worst name for a product, iCPooch, period. Hello. Worst deal of the night. I'm just still upset at the last guy, so it doesn't really matter. There was no deal. Both of them. The other one, the $15 million dude, could have had a deal too if he would have just negotiated or at least been a salesperson of some kind. I get the fact that you're a great PR and marketing guy. Become a salesperson in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, it looks like next Friday, guys, is a rerun. So we will not be here next Friday because we only do the first run shows, so keep that in mind. However, feel free to hit subscribe. That way when you'll be notified when new ones come up and new ones get posted, etc. That way you can be one of the first to know, first to watch and probably impress your friends with a little bit of the information that you've learned here about how to look at these deals and why people said yes or why people said no. And if perchance you are out there in business and you're looking to learn how to raise capital, etc., we've developed some information in a tool-free guide. Feel free to click the first link below. You'll be able to, it'll take you to a page where we'll send you a video course as well as a guide on how we do it and been able to do it for many of the transactions that we do, specifically in real estate, but it also works for business as well. Anyway, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I do look forward to talking to you soon. Again, do me a favor. Don't make any stupid decisions. Put some value on the people that you're trying to pull around you, even when they give you something that looks like it might not be worth it. There's lots of other types of compensation other than just money. Man, I cannot believe he did that. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Until next time.